Hey guys, it's Sandro here from Carcraft Auto Detailing in Melbourne. I thought I'd do a video today on my detailing van setup, as per request from a couple of subscribers. My setup can vary a little, depending on the specific job I've got on that day, but generally this is my setup. Also, I want to quickly mention, for any mobile detailers that may be watching, the importance of protecting your vehicle and equipment. This is our livelihood, and although I have insurance, losing my van or gear immediately stops my ability to earn a wage. So, apart from always keeping it garaged, I also invested in a high-end alarm with multiple immobilizers and cabin and cargo motion sensors, which actually paid off last year after a failed theft attempt. But with that nastiness out of the way, let's get stuck into having a look at my setup and gear. I'll just briefly go through it, as I'm sure most of you know what it's used for, and I've already talked about a lot of these items in previous videos. This is a smaller van than many, so I try to make the most out of every available area, including the front cabin. I've got my business cards handy for potential customers. Up top is a variety of stationery, sunscreen, air fresheners and bug sprays. I've got my safety fire blanket and extinguisher always handy, torch and drink bottles to stay hydrated. This is my touch-up airbrush kit with a couple of brushes with thinner and wider tips, my water air compressor that works so much better than my main air compressor for airbrushing, some white and black paint for fine-tuning OEM touch-up paints, as well as some general clear coat and my airbrush clean-out spray-out bottle. This tool bag contains my cordless Dremel kit, some spare batteries and all my attachments and accessories I use mostly for metalwork and sanding. My rust converter, and also has my air regulator for my 3-inch dual action air driven sander. There's a great amount of storage behind the seats as well. This is where I keep my materials safety data sheets, invoices, quotes and inspection booklets, and a few other business leaflets. I also use it to store my heat gun, my cordless drill case, and my larger toolkit case, as well as a change of uniform if I get dirty after a job and have to meet with a client afterwards. So onto the body of the van. This is my all-important trolley. It gets secured with quite a few elastic harnesses that nicely keep it in place while driving. This trolley is at the heart of my detailing and holds about half the gear and products I use. I hate having to go back and forth between my van, so I just keep this trolley stocked and near me for all jobs. Up top is most of my compounds and polishers, all-in-ones, various waxes and sealants, trim restorers and dressings, and glass polishers and decontamination and alcohol sprayers. In the drawer, I keep a variety of stuff like water and air hose connectors, plastic scrapers, trim tools, insulator tapes, and my paint thickness gauge. There's quite a few compartments underneath that I store safety equipment like dust masks, earplugs, and my headlamp torch. It's got all my masking tapes, my clay bars and decontamination towels, as well as my applicator foam and microfiber pads. And down the bottom are all my microfiber cloths for polish and wax oil sealant removal. Around the other side I have my metal polish and compounds, tyre dressing applicators, my glass cleaning pads and cloths, followed by my interior and exterior nano coatings and applicators, onto my miscellaneous compartment with pens, markers, glues and bits and pieces, to my nitrile, cotton and microfiber gloves, and my interior wheel, engine and multitask cloths, to finally my thinners and wax and grease removal chemicals. So moving on to the cargo area of the van, I like everything to have its place and be easily accessible and always in its place, so I can always find it and grab it out whenever I need it. Continuing on, I keep my polish machines and buffers in this bag with a few other attachments and bits. My wash buckets and grit guards, which are all self-explanatory I'm guessing. George, my wet and dry vac, as well as my extractor all in one. My little beast of a steamer, which I've covered before. Up top on these shelves is a variety of aerosols and sprayers from WD-40 and Scotchgard to distilled and soapy water, to some engine oil, plastic bags, vacuum bags and power cord insulators for rainy days, my spray wax, waterless wash and clay lubes, as well as my extractor, disinfectants, chemicals and air fresheners. Onto my Tornador air gun. I've talked about how much I love this tool, and of course my Stanley belt-driven air compressor. With up to 10 bar of pressure, a 50 litre tank and just under 200 litres of air per minute, if you want to use air tools like the Tornador, this is a starting point and it works great. But if you go with a smaller tank and less litres of air per minute, you will be struggling to keep the tool working effectively. We've got some power boards and cords, my stool creeper, my ladder for taller SUVs and four-wheel drives. In this bucket I keep my long, thick gauge extension cords, my wash mitts, my drying towels. I've got my foam lance and washing detergents here as well, my pump action super degreaser bottle and my compressor's air hose. This is my extractor's filter and chemical tank, my bucket caddy that holds all my interior cleaning tools and chemicals, and my rim, tyre and engine bucket caddy that likewise holds everything I need for those areas. This bag has a few of my metal and wheel polishing storing tools, as well as all of my 3 and 6 inch sanding discs and all grades of sandpaper I use by hand and with a block. Onto my newer 150 litre water tank. This replaced my 200 litre tank, which was far bulkier and space consuming, and just overkill for me, as honestly it's a rare day I wash more than one car before detailing it. To the side is my longer air hose. Up top near the roof I've got some work lights, my California duster, the Stoner glass reach tool, and a couple of spare spray bottles with my Tornador Velocity vac attachment. I keep all my 1, 2 and 3 inch pads in this case, next to my Root Beer's Nano iBread case and tools. Higher up on the side are all my 5, 6 and 7 inch pads organised into categories. And my Hello Nova work lights, which are just brilliant at spotting paint defects. As well as a spare water pressure hose on the side here. In the back I have my 5500 watt inverter generator, which is great for running multiple tools at once, and far quieter than most standard generators. On the side is my vacuum and extractor hoses, some chucks and paper towels up top, all my 4 inch pads below in this container, and my steamer hose and water hose cords to the side and below. Lastly is my petrol pressure washer. This is a bit of a beast at 4600 psi with a solid brass pump and Japanese carby, but a little on the loud side for my liking. I really hope you found this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe to show your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.